Malmo 1, Chelsea 2. Chelsea get the important away win in the round of 32 of the Europa League with a very unconvincing performance, plus conceding a late goal to leave the tie a lot tighter than it should and needed to be. To find out everything about the game as it happened, our performance, my issues with Maurizio Sarri's selection and more, be sure to watch all of this review. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my review of the Malmo 1, Chelsea 2 game, like I said, in the round of 32 of the Europa League, of course in the first leg. And I mean, what can I say? Yeah, we got the win, which is good, but other than that, I'm not all too pleased. The performance wasn't great. We conceded a stupid late goal to make the tie a lot tighter than it just should have been. Like, it just should not have been that tight, even though fair play to Malmo. They gave us a good game, especially late in the first half and early in the second half, but still it was just ridiculous. And you know, there's plenty of issues that I have with the selection as well, so let's get into it. Of course, this is the review, there's other content as well, so if you don't want to miss out on any of that, please be sure to subscribe to 100% Chelsea, and also let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes on this video. That would be massively appreciated. So yeah, if you could smash the like button down below, I'd absolutely love you for it. But now, just getting straight into the video and starting off with the lineup. And that was quite a bit different to what I expected, to what I spoke about yesterday in the preview. Kepa Arrizabalaga was in goal. The two fullbacks were Azpilicueta and of course Emerson Palmieri after Marcos Alonso stayed in London. A centre-back partnership of Andreas Christensen and David Luiz. A midfield three of Jorginho as the regista, obviously. Kovacic as the right centre midfielder. Barkley as the left centre midfielder. And then a front three of Willian on the left, Pedro on the right and Olivier Giroud starting up front. Now, if you watched my preview, you'll know that I actually said play Willian and Pedro, just in the hope of playing Hudson-Odoi on Monday alongside Hazard, against Manchester United. Do I see that happening? Not really. I didn't expect Willian and Pedro to start today. So if anything, I just feel like, why the hell did Hudson-Odoi not at least get a start today? I'm not sure what's going on. Is he being punished for, handing in a transfer request? Is it a punishment by Sarri? Is it a punishment by the club? Does Sarri just not want to play more? I don't know. Maybe he is going to start on Monday. I'm not going to go, all guns blazing at this decision until I see whether he starts on Monday, even though I doubt it very much. But what annoys me almost more is that Ethan Ampadu made the trip, but didn't even get into the squad. When we had to play Kovacic, Jorginho and Ross Barkley. Both, Jorginho needs a rest as it is. And then we don't play Ampadu. You could have just played Ampadu as the right centre midfielder and played Kovacic as a regista, and that would have been fine. That would have worked just fine. Or play him instead of David Luiz as centre-back, just to give David Luiz a little bit of a rest. But no, we don't do that. But, I was quite triggered. But getting into the game, we got exactly what I expected and what I predicted yesterday. I mean, Malmo is set very deep in their 3-5-2 formation, or 5-3-2 rather. Except for the first few minutes of the first half, to be honest, when, they were a bit more adventurous and had like two corners early on and stuff like that. But as usual, against the deep-sitting team that also did well to cover the half spaces, we struggled. Of course we struggled. I mean, the passing was way too slow, nowhere near enough movement, poor touches left, right and centre, players keeping the ball for way too long. I mean, let's be honest, we barely got into the final third, let alone created any chances. In all honesty, it was more entertaining to listen to the Malmo fans than watching us play. I mean, it was bad. I mean, Malmo didn't threaten us. Okay, yeah, good, but that's not much to boast about in all honesty. And all what I just spoke about was what we got for the first half an hour. But then in the 30th minute, Ross Barkley kind of out of nowhere just made it 1-0. Like, it was our first real chance of the game. We made it 1-0, fair play, you could call it clinical. And it was a decent goal as well. But up until then, it was dreadful. I mean, Malmo did help us quite a bit with that goal because they gave Pedro just acres of space. Basically just a few yards away from the corner of the box. They just gave him so much space. And then he just put in a decent cross into the box to Ross Barkley, who also was left completely by himself inside the box. I don't know, they were probably just focusing on Olivier Giroud, and then Barkley made a good run into the box, which, a left centre midfielder doesn't do enough, and he did it in that occasion and did well, although then he kind of tried his hardest to trip over the ball as he tried to control it, but then he just about managed to get his shot away, then he squeezed past the keeper and obviously made it 1-0, like I said, in the 30th minute. But yeah, I mean, that was a rare occasion. It's not like we just started creating chance after chance after chance after we scored. I mean, it was just the same thing started again. To be honest, Malmo got into the game more and more. At least a few minutes later, they started to get into the game more. Around the 37th minute, they actually got pretty close to equalising, following a free kick that led to the ball bouncing around in our box, and then that then ended up being deflected out for a corner, which obviously was slightly lucky. To be honest, just the last 10 minutes of the first half, they just pressurised us quite a lot. They created a few half chances and almost moments. Well, we just struggled to get out of the back. We just couldn't pass our way out from just them pressurising us. We just couldn't get past their press, to be honest. Especially Olivier Giroud didn't help us at all. Like, he was just incapable of doing anything with the ball. Either he committed fouls, which is loads of fair play, he still scored a goal today, but still, you know, either committed fouls or just lost the ball or made the completely wrong movement and never even got on the end of the ball. But to be honest, that was the nit for the first half. But getting into the second half, it was not much different. Like, the second half started exactly how the first half ended, with Malmö pressurising us. Like, they played well, they made our defence look really poor at times, and they created quite a few almost moments. I mean, they never really got properly dangerous, and when they did, we managed to deflect their efforts basically wide for a corner, or, you know, well, just deflect them basically. So we stopped them from having really dangerous shots on target. But still, you know, they really pressurised us. But thankfully, with just less than an hour gone, Olivier Giroud kind of put the game to bed to an extent by making it 2-0 with a very good goal overall, actually. Jorginho with a very good forward through ball to Ross Barkley to get us past Malmö's press for kind of once in the second half, at least up until then. Barkley then played Willian in down the left-hand side, who drove into the box with the ball at his feet, rinsing the defender in front of him basically, and then kind of just cut it back from the byline, by the edge of the 6-yard box, really cut that back into the box where Olivier Giroud managed to get onto the end of that and kind of backheel flicked it over the line to make it 2-0. And like I said, that was a good goal. And to be honest, at that point, at least, that kind of ended Malmö's effort, you know, to get a goal, to pressurise us. We kind of stopped them. We kept the ball a lot better. We passed the ball a lot quicker, at least for a few minutes, you know, I should say, because then we actually should have made it 3-0 with Ross Barkley again when he ended up being one-on-one with the keeper after a nice bit of play. But then instead of putting it in either corner, because he was right in the middle of the goal, right, you know, right in front of the keeper, he just blasted it instead of putting it in either corner. Then the keeper managed to get his fingers on it and just about tip it over the bar, which is obviously annoying. And then, you know, we got to the even more confusing bit compared to the lineup, because with 20 minutes to go, for some unknown reason, Sarri brought Hazard on for Willian, while Callum Hudson-Odoi was still sat on the bench. Like, you know, if we're going to not start him because he might start on Monday, cool. But why on earth are we bringing Hazard on when Hazard plays all the time? Like, give Hudson-Odoi the minutes. Like, especially because when Hazard came on, he was dreadful anyway. And then a few minutes later, Jorginho was replaced by N'Golo Kanté, moving Mateo Kovacic into the regista role, and obviously Kanté into his usual right-hand midfield position. And then the rest of the game, I mean, we kind of saw it out until we conceded. Because, you know, we passed it around. We didn't really create much. Pedro had a shot that, you know, was kind of looking good for that top far corner, but took a slight deflection out for a corner. With our corners, we didn't do anything, and it was all right just seeing out a dead game, in all honesty. Until Malmö got a goal back out of absolutely nowhere in the 84th minute. And what a stupid, stupid, stupid goal that was to concede. I mean, it was a whole line of dreadful mistakes. First, Barkley, completely unasked, like, okay, let's say half-assed, not going for a loose ball. Like, a pass to him, basically, just at the edge of Malmö's box. Was kind of half intercepted and then half wasn't. And then he thought it was. And then he realised, actually, it's kind of loose. But then he was, like, just annoyed at himself and didn't actually run after it. Then Luis got on the end of kind of that loose ball in the end after I think Malmö just lost it again. And then played a really unnecessarily risky ball considering we were 2-0 up at the time. The ball got intercepted. Luis then slipped to make it worse. Malmö just hit us on a counter. Christensen then also half-assed going in against Marcus Rosenberg, obviously the Malmö striker. He just let him turn so easily. Like, all that Christensen needed to do there is kind of push him a little bit. He was right next to him. He didn't need to murder him with a side tackle. Just push him a little bit. Because they were so far away from goal still, even though Christensen, I think, was the last man. That is not a sending off. He wouldn't have been sent off for that. Just push him. Don't even necessarily push him over. Just push him a little bit. And then, you know, either slow their attack down or win the ball. But he didn't do any. Just let Rosenberg turn. Andreas Christiansen, not Andreas Christensen, but Andreas Christiansen, the Malmö forward, made a run towards the left, and Rosenberg just found him with a simple through ball, basically half across the pitch, just right to Christiansen, who, you know, Kovacic was too slow for to catch up with, basically, or keep up with. And then Christiansen did well to just slot it in to make it 2-1 past Kepa. And, you know, I mean, to be honest, that was really it for the game, just that Hudson-Odoi came on for an almost useless 5-minute cameo as he replaced Pedro. And that was then full-time at, obviously, a 2-1 win for Chelsea away, obviously, at Malmö. And, yeah, I'm not happy. I mean, yes, we won, which is good, and we're going into the second leg next week. You know, we still have the 2 away goals. They would need to beat us 2-0, which I see as, you know, very unlikely. But especially when you make substitutions like bringing Eden Hazard on instead of Hudson-Odoi, which I still don't understand, and then you concede one and actually go home with a worse result than it was when Hazard came on. I mean, that's just bloody annoying, isn't it? But I do want to pick out a few players that I really didn't like today. I mean, Emerson Palmieri, we really want him to play better, to play over Marcos Alonso. But then he has these performances, like it was at Bournemouth. And again today, he was just dreadful. Like, what he's mainly meant to be better at than Marcos Alonso is in basically the final third and just going forward. But but he just does absolutely nothing. Yes, he's nice at the ball and then more smooth and has better movement and all of that, I agree. But he's just so lackluster a lot of the time. It's too slow, and yes, his crossing is arguably better. I'm not saying he was as bad as Alonso usually is, but you know, if we already disagree with the manager, and if he wants to change his manager's mind as to that he should play over Alonso, you can't play like this. You can't play like half-assed, like give it your bloody all. Don't be like slow all the bloody time. I don't barely want to talk about Pedro. He did really well for his assist, but other than that, he was bloody dreadful. I mean, I was surprised that he still knew how to breathe, because he forgot literally everything else. Couldn't run, he couldn't control the ball, he couldn't pass the ball, he couldn't cross the ball, except for the cross that actually worked for an assist, I guess, you know. But still, he couldn't shoot, didn't even have a shot, I don't know. He had one that got deflected, which was decent. He was a bit better second half, but first though, he was just dreadful. Willian, you know, again, also an assist, but overall, not very good. Just not working that hard, losing the ball way too many times. Also not helped by the midfield, to be honest, because they weren't great. Barkley, again, just as uninspiring as he basically always is. Kovacic, I thought, was decent, except very early on when, you know, whenever they pressed us, he struggled a little bit, but then we kind of did well to play around it. And for the 2-0, he was the one that got us around the press, so fair play to him. Azpilicueta, also kind of as usual, not that great, you know, just didn't help us out going forward at all. And then Hazard, when he came on, he was just awful. Like, he basically lost the ball every single time he had it. He kept the ball for way too long, he barely passed the ball, and then he always tried to get free kicks, but never got them. Like, he annoyed me so much. It looked like he just didn't want to play today. And that's exactly why Hudson-Odoi should have come on instead of him, because Hazard really didn't make us better today. One player that I thought was good today was Mateo Kovacic. I thought he did well, whether that was at right-hand midfield, which I think he's much better at than at left-hand midfield, and also at Regista later on, even though he didn't play there for long enough to really be judged on. I would have said Andreas Christensen also did well, but then I still think he should have done a lot better for the goal we conceded, but still, overall, he had a pretty decent game. And other than that, there's not that much more to say. I mean, it's Malmo, it's the Europa League, you know, round of 32. It's not that interesting. Fair play to the Malmo fans. They put on a great show. I wish I could have been there, but the flights were ridiculously expensive from where I live. Otherwise, I would have been there. But, you know, they put on some, you know, flair show. That was class. Absolutely loved that. Obviously, being from, you know, mainland Europe, we do that thing. But, yeah. There is not much more to say. I mean, if you have any thoughts on the game, leave me all of them down in the comments section below. Did anyone that I didn't mention disappoint you? Did anyone impress you that I didn't mention? What do you make of the Callum Hudson-Odoi situation? Do you think he will start on Monday? What do you make of Ampadu not even being on the bench, which I still find very questionable? But yeah, all of your thoughts on the game and everything else down in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes. That would be massively appreciated. Of course, don't forget to check out my social media, which is Laos57 on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here, and also the links to both of them will be down in the description below. And obviously, you know, this is YouTube, so if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to 100% Chelsea, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of our future videos. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, up the Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.